So we all know that the justice system in this country is used like a plantation whip. And a lot of times when you see some of these black folk working in this system, some of them love holding that plantation whip for themselves. They love holding that whip, thinking, of course, that it could never be used to whip them. Their sense of self becomes intertwined with this whip, right? The throne, right? They become obsessed with getting you to kiss the ring and bow down to the Iron Throne because they see themselves as the throne. America! So much so, right, that a person like Judge Kenneth King would see a disenfranchised teenager falling asleep in his courtroom and think that her sleepiness is a personal affront to him. And if we zoom out, the larger picture is that if the justice system was actually about justice, if the people who run this government and run the systems actually cared about the population, they'd solve these socioeconomic issues so that a teen like Eva wouldn't be experiencing homelessness and exhaustion in the first place to be even falling asleep in the courtroom to begin with. Let's talk about it. Headlock, got him in a headlock. Music to my ears, I'm about to make your head pop. Now, we just diving right into the articles. I had seen this story, but I waited to talk about it, not only because, like, at first it infuriated me so much that I'm like, I don't want to get on here and start really talking and get my channel banned, because that, when I watched that, like, judge act up, it infuriated me because I'm like, this is a little black girl who's in the courtroom because of a field trip and she falling asleep and now she's waking up in a mock trial. Y'all, handcuffs on her. I thought it was just so heinous that I was like, let me not come on here and start breathing fire and then get my channel banned. But then I saw that the family is going ahead and suing him, and I'm very happy about it. Now, the family of a Michigan teen is filing a lawsuit against Detroit Judge Kenneth King after he ordered her to be handcuffed for falling asleep in the courtroom. Subjecting a minor to such public humiliation and violating her rights is unconscionable. That was coming from James Harrington of Figer Law, who is representing the family. Our legal system is built on principles of fairness and respect for all individual rights, and those who violate those rights should be held accountable for their actions. The lawsuit comes after 15-year-old Eva Goodman was handcuffed while she was on a field trip with a local nonprofit. King noticed her falling asleep and called her out for it. After that, he ordered her to be handcuffed. The lawsuit claims that King then required her to change into prisoner clothing, jailed her, and held a fake trial while streaming the events live. The lawsuit asserts that King violated Goodman's constitutional rights. The family is seeking compensation for past, present, and future pain and suffering, medical expenses, including psychological and psychiatric treatment, exemplary damages, and attorney and expert witness fees. The lawsuit is seeking $75,000. I wish they would put some more zeros on that one. Like, don't play with me. A couple more zeros on this one. Oh, this number need to be bigger. And what's interesting is that apparently this girl is experiencing homelessness, or at least unstable housing, right? And so if the justice system, or if this system actually cared, you know, if the judge had some inkling of empathy, he could have reached out and be like, I wonder why she falling asleep, or is everything all right? Like, you good, sis? Like, everything okay? And you would have found out, oh my goodness, this person is experiencing homelessness or going through some stuff, and you could help them out. But that's not how this system works, of course. That's not, and that's why I think you find personalities like Kenneth King here, because that's not how the system works. If anything, you'd be closer to getting her snatched away from her home and her community by the system before they ever give you any help. Now you got this judge being a bully. I don't want him to be nobody's judge no more, and I think that all of his cases need to be looked over. I mean, he showed absolutely no remorse after this incident, saying, oh, well, it's just tough love. Real quick, it says here in interviews after the event, King stated that he felt his actions were justified as a form of tough love, aiming to teach the youth about courtroom behavior. He remarked, I'll do whatever needs to be done to reach these kids and make sure they don't end up in front of me. Girl, for sleeping? Indicating that he believed his approach was necessary. King further clarified that he did not view his treatment of Goodman as heavy-handed and expressed no reservations about his actions. He mentioned that he wanted the experience to feel very real for her, even though he acknowledged there was probably no real chance he would actually send her to jail. I hate that that word probably is there. Oh my goodness, he's so disgusting. He justified his behavior by claiming he was disturbed by what he perceived as her disrespectful attitude, stating, I hadn't been disrespected like that in a very long time, and that he felt compelled to act due to her demeanor. And I'm just like, what a small man you have to be to do something like this. I've never been disrespected that way in a very long time. Girl, hush. Someone falling asleep, you need to go soul searching. It's giving megalomaniac, 100%. You have all the power. You have all the power right now in this situation. I mean, I'm sure in your community, you're a judge, and still that's not enough. Still, you have to bully a teenage girl. That don't make you feel weird? No, it doesn't. No remorse. You hear what I'm saying? None. Also, I cannot help but wonder how this judge would have acted if it was a little white girl falling asleep in his courtroom. Like, would you respect this girl's whiteness and this girl's parents enough to talk to her like she a human being? Do y'all think it would have ever got this far if it was a little white girl sitting there falling asleep? It gives misogynist. I already said that. Also, because I saw this old video of him, I think, talking to a female lawyer. She stood up for herself, but the judge would not stop being disrespectful. Her male coworker had to come in and defend her. When I'm editing this video, I really hope I remember to find at least a screenshot or something of the video and show it to y'all here so y'all can at least see which video I'm talking about. But
we want discovery on a case that's not going to go.
Let me choose my words. I wanted discovery on the case that was scheduled for a preliminary examination at 12 o'clock today. Well, we don't know if it'll go, because what if the complainant just so happens to walk in? Rather than wait in last hour and we keep on doing this.
Okay, please don't talk over me.
I'm not going to talk over you, Judge.
He's still talking over me.
Well, you're cutting me off.
When I talk, you stop. Understood?
No, I actually don't understand that, Judge.
Why don't you come down here and I'll make it clear to you. Come down. I'll see you at 12 o'clock.
I'm not coming at 12 o'clock, Judge.
Okay. Don't come then and see what happens.
Okay, so do you want Attorney Davenport, who is the attorney on this case? Do you want to speak to him? Because if you're asking me,
why are you even talking to me if you're not on this case? I don't even want to talk to you then.
Well, you asked a question about me, Judge, so I started speaking.
You're talking to me if you're not involved in this case.
Well, I am involved. I'm co-counsel on this case, Judge, but just to be...
I want you to come down here at 12 o'clock today.
I won't be coming, but here's Attorney Davenport.
And I'll hold you in contempt of court.
And I'll go ahead and file a grievance.
Do it.
I will.
I don't appreciate any yelling. I feel like it's unprofessional. I feel like she was trying to express the fact that this...
And I asked her not to talk over me, Mr. Davenport, just like you stopped.
He been like this. Judge Ken been like this. Okay, so the article continues. According to the lawsuit, Goodman was participating in a vocational program through a nonprofit that employed teens to plant trees throughout Detroit and taught them how to succeed in the workforce. King was temporarily removed from his docket following the incident and will now go through training to address the underlying issues that contributed to this incident, according to a statement from 36th District Court Chief Judge William McConaughey. And so my thinking is always like, yeah, is this really a bug in the system or is it a feature, right? Because instead of firing this guy, because that's ridiculous, and looking through all his cases, this must be the culture of the system there, because you're talking about training him. You cannot undo like, watch his interviews. You cannot, that's who he is. You cannot undo that. Some more consequences for the judge. Wayne State University, where King worked as an adjunct professor, also announced that it has reassigned 2 courses that he was scheduled to teach this fall. His profile on the university's website has also been removed, as it should. Oh, right here, the chief judge made it clear that he does not have the power to remove a judge from the bench, but utilize the authority provided by the Michigan court rules to address this situation with the highest level of seriousness and resolve. Girl, I guess. Why can't y'all remove him? The system is so funny because just the moments when you needed to do something to get something out of here or to fix a problem, they'd be like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. But they'll find a loophole if it means getting you together. That is so interesting to me. Anyway, I would be falling asleep too, right? If I had to go to school, go to these field trips, and also my housing is unstable, also I may be experiencing homelessness. Switching articles real quick, check my description box. Eva's mother, Latoria Till, told the Detroit Free Press, my daughter is hurt. She is feeling scared. She didn't want to go to work. She was really nervous and intimidated. We have to bounce around currently because we don't have a permanent address. And so that particular night, we kind of got in late. She continues, to belittle her in front of the whole world and her friends, to make her feel even worse about our situation. The fact that he was talking about you go home and get in your bed. How do you know my baby got a home? How do you know my baby got a bed? Her own bed she could sleep in. So that's why, this is one of the many, many, many reasons why when I see a Black person running for something or in politics or in the justice system, I'm not automatically jumping for joy because they are obsessed with the whip, with the plantation whip. They're obsessed with it. They're obsessed. Some of them are obsessed with it. And they go out of their way to make sure you get your lashings so that they can prove to the system, around them that, hey, I'm not like one of them other ones. I'm not like one of these ones. Like, I'm Black, but I'm not like them. And so that is so dangerous, especially from the outside looking in, where it's like they try to camouflage, like, oh, well, I'm Black just like y'all, and I mean well. I mean well. No, they're using that political whip even on children. This article goes on. Unstable living conditions are a part of working class life in America and in Detroit in particular. A recent study from Wayne State University shows that it's so, I love that article cites where the judge used to work at, shows that between 11 and 16% of students in Detroit faced homelessness during the 2021 through 2022 school year. And so I be seeing, statistics like that. And I'm like, all this anger that you have toward a little Black girl should be going towards the fact that 11 to 16% of students are experiencing homelessness. Like all this anger, all this energy, instead of directing it to being anti-Black, we could be fixing these issues. So that's why I think it's crazy when y'all bringing these kids to these courtrooms anyway, to have them be inspired or, for field trips anyway, because look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. So in the court's live stream, Judge King could be heard saying to Eva, you sleep at home in your bed, not in court. And quite frankly, I don't like your attitude. And I'm going to sleep tonight while you're sitting in a juvenile detention center. He repeatedly suggested she should be jailed, and he described violent and unsanitary conditions inside the jails, including by referring to a juvenile prisoner who spread feces around with a spoon. So he's trying to scare her, and that is, the point, really, is that so many of the Black faces in power, but power period in this country, is trying to scare, is trying to intimidate, is trying to, force someone to yield, instead of trying to help them, trying to see where they're coming from, expressing some kind of empathy, providing for the populace. You see what I'm saying? It's such a, it's so ridiculous because you see how many resources are out there and could be utilized by government, by judges, by politicians to help their populace, to help their constituents. But instead they are out here harassing teenage girls. Like, wow. You just can't make this up. You can't make this up. But yeah, I'm glad that they are suing him. The family is suing him. like I said, I'm sure that whatever the lawyers and stuff know what they're doing. I am not no lawyer or nothing like that. I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. But I wonder why they picked that number. I wonder if they're like, well, we have to choose one that's, I don't know, realistic, that will go forward in court. So I don't know the issue or the reason. But I'm saying, you know, if y'all wanted to add another 0 or 2 on top of that number, I wouldn't have been, you know, go get y'all money. I hope y'all get y'all money, okay? It's the least you deserve after. I mean, I can't imagine having to relive this as a kid. You're going to remember this for the rest of your life, you know? I mean, mock trial had you standing up there in jail in front of your friend, like handcuff, like you're going to remember this for the rest of your life. So I guess we will see what comes of this case. That judge should be ashamed of himself, and that's that. On that note, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my Patreon for more content, for podcasts. Love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good evening.
Headlock, got him in a headlock. Music to my ears, I'm about to make your head pop. Headlock, got him in a headlock. Yeah, bitch, I'm gon' dip after making your